Good evening, you're watching this Mongolian World. I'm your host, Muhammad. And for top stories, Oyu Tolgoi underground mines opening ceremony was held on Tuesday. Mongolia-Russia-China gas pipeline project to begin in 2024, and daily updates on COVID-19 status Mongolia. And for the news, stay tuned. Turquoise Hill Resources announced the start of Oyu Tolgoi's underground mine. Prime Minister of Mongolia, Oyu Tolgoi, Chief Executive Officer of Oyu Tolgoi, and Rio Tinto Chief Executive Officer Jakob Stausholm attended a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the underground mine's opening that was held on Tuesday, January 25th.
The Mongolian government and Rio Tinto announced that they have reached an agreement to end the long-running dispute over the $6.93 billion expansion of the Oyu Tolgoi copper and gold mining project. The deal marks a positive development for the Anglo-Australian mining giant. The company is currently facing challenges related to mining and exploration rejection in Guinea and the United States. Last week, the company was rejected for the operation of lithium mine in Serbia. Mongolia owns 34% of Oyu Tolgoi, one of the world's largest known copper and gold deposits. Rio controls the rest through its 51% stake in Toronto Stock Exchange listed Turquoise Hill Resources Limited Liability Company and operates the mine. In previous months, Rio Tinto CEO Stausholm visited Mongolia multiple times trying to salvage the project amid mounting concerns that the economic benefits of the project for Mongolians were being eroded.
The Ministry of Health and the National Center for Communicable Diseases provided the latest updates on COVID-19 status in Mongolia. Details as follows.
The Ministry of Health today reported that 1,978 new COVID-19 cases were detected after tests were carried out at PCR laboratories across the country. 4 people, all with underlying health conditions, died of COVID-19 complications in the past 24 hours. All new cases are of domestic transmission, 1,232 out of which were confirmed in Ulaanbaatar, and the remaining 746 were confirmed in the provinces. 11,341 COVID-19 patients are being treated at hospitals nationwide. Additionally, 55,358 patients are being treated at home. Among the patients being treated at hospitals nationwide, 3,757 are showing mild symptoms of illness and 77 are in critical condition. As of now, around 2.17 million people, or 67% of the population, have had 2 doses of a COVID-19 vaccine, 31% has received the 3rd dose, and 2% has received the 4th dose of a COVID-19 vaccine so far. Omicron variant outbreak continues in the world, so the Ministry of Health warned that every citizen should be careful and follow the infection control regime. The anticipated COVID-19 peak is to be reached around Lunar New Year. Hence, officials warn the public against the risk of getting exposed to the virus, and it is advising people not to celebrate the holiday widely.
Mongolia's tourism sector has lost 1.2 trillion MNT in 2020. If the situation continues, the industry estimates that deficit could reach 4.1 trillion MNT this year. As of today, 570 organizations are registered in the sector. However, 88,000 job positions are at risk. At least 1 trillion MNT is needed to revitalize the sector.
I think it will be done by Thursday of this week. An official meeting with tourism professional associations is about to begin. In general, Mongolia is losing a lot of money on foreign tourism. Now is the time for us to develop domestic tourism. In addition, we will formulate a full government policy to support tourism companies and organize meetings with enterprises. An example is the construction of a tourism headquarters using their own investment by issuing permits to enterprises in certain areas. We realize that a lot of work must be done. The highest growth rate in the tourism sector was in 2019. In 2019, the tourism sector accounted for 6.8% of the total GDP. However, researchers point out that the sector is expected to grow from 2023. In particular, from 2023, tourism orders are expected to double. This indicates that there are tourists willing to come to Mongolia. This year, 50% of central operators have orders on their books, according to the study by the Geography Department of the National University of Mongolia.
For our next story, we will look at a good example of domestic production based on the achievements of researchers. Umngo province is now exploring ways to process and export camel milk.
Adia Jargal, a camel herder in Manlesa Momngo province, has traveled 200 kilometers to the province center to sell some camel milk. Adia Jargal has over 100 camels, and she and her family sell camel milk and camel milk products collected from their 20 cows. Momngo residents sell 1 liter of hormuk, fermented camel's milk, for 9 to 10,000 Mongolian tigers. With hormuk selling at this price, camel milk sales have helped to improve their livelihood significantly. Adjejargal says that it is important to find ways to process the milk locally within the zone.
In winter, we only produce fermented milk. In warmer seasons, we make curd and other dairy products. It would be great if we could sell those products regularly without having to travel to long distances.
Many camel herders are selling their milk and milk products through direct sales in small quantities. Research shows that using innovative processing could double or triple the profits they're making from their milk. Researchers at the Mongolian Academy of Sciences have introduced a way to make powdered camel milk based on experiments conducted since 2015. As camel milk is considered a healthy beverage, new camel milk products are expected to have a strong sales potential.
We believe this powdered milk should be profitable. All the tests and experiments have been done, and we are ready to put products on shelves.
The first steps are being taken to make Umngo province a livestock-based production region, starting with the opening of a 2.5 billion Mongolian tigers camel milk processing factory by 2024.
With our technology, we are producing 800 grams to 1 kilogram of powdered milk from 10 liters of camel milk. The factory is expected to recover the initial investment and yield profits in the future.
According to the figures from the Ministry of Food, Agriculture and Light Industry, the country has the capacity to process 470,000 tons of milk per year. However, only 30% of the milk produced domestically is being processed.
According to our plan for the province, we are working to develop small and medium enterprises in every zone in Umngo province. In doing so, we are striving to make use of innovations and new technology. In order to support production based on scientific research, the Innovation and Technology Center of Umngo province has been opened, which will boost domestic production.
Today, 18% of the province's GDP comes from the agricultural sector. There are around 2,500 local SMEs. Province administrators and researchers say that the expansion of innovative dairy processing could contribute to the diversification of the economy.
Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs.
A feasibility study for the construction of a gas pipeline from Russia to China through Mongolian territory was approved today. The ceremony for its ratification was attended by the Prime Minister of Mongolia, Oyu Tolgoi. During the Prime Minister's visit to Russia in December 2019, a memorandum of understanding was signed on the construction of the gas pipeline. As a result, a special purpose company was established and the feasibility study began. On March 12, 2021, members of Gazprom's board of directors met with the delegation of Mongolian officials led by the Deputy Prime Minister to approve the project's action plan. Currently, the map of the 960.5-kilometer route for the pipeline is clear. With the feasibility study complete, engineers and technicians will have to prepare for the execution of the project over the next 2 years. The project will officially launch in 2024. An agreement will now have to be signed by the governments of the 3 countries on tariffs and price regulation. The Mongolian government will also be developing new legislation related to the natural gas pipeline.
Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. In Bayındırlıksoy province, 95 kilometers from Ulaanbaatar city, is the country's first dairy cluster farm. The cluster farm is home to 10 dairy farms with a total of 40 cows. Besides these farmers, there are a few other dairy farms in Mongolia, but qualified dairy farmers will now be able to apply for business loans with a 4.8% annual interest rate.
Each year, farmers spend about 40 to 50 million Mongolian tugurs to buy 10 3-year-old calves to improve the quality of their herd. Those calves will pay off after about 1 year, but farmers need working capital to build their business.
Collateral is required to obtain a bank loan. Agricultural buildings are assessed with a lower value, therefore banks don't provide loans to farmers in the amount they want. If they get a loan in the amount they want, it has a short repayment period.
Mongol Dairy Company, the Mongolian Dairy Association, and Investcorp Non-Banking Financial Institution GSC have signed a memorandum of understanding to provide loans to dairy farmers at 4.8% interest per annum.
The Mongolian Dairy Association will select companies. Then the tripartite memorandum of understanding signed will be implemented to secure funding from Investcorp and BFI. In partnership with Rio Tinto Mongolia, our organization supports small and medium-sized businesses affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. We started providing soft loans to increase their benefits.
Ulaanbaatar's liquid milk processing plants receive 54 million liters of milk a year. About 70% of this milk is collected in the summer, while less liquid milk is purchased during the rest of the year. To meet year-round demand, industry experts say it's necessary to improve the quality of cattle and increase milk yields.
We need to increase quantity and productivity without increasing the number of livestock. This will increase farmers' incomes. Consumers in Ulaanbaatar city will be provided with more affordable dairy products.
In more developed countries, dairy farms produce about 30 liters of milk per cow from a single milking. Some farms near Ulaanbaatar are only able to produce 2 to 3 liters of milk per milking, making profitable modern dairy farming a major challenge.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast of world's major cities. Well, that's all for today, and thank you for staying with us. We will see you tomorrow with news and updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.